In this video, I want to give a full explanation and a full analyze how I am first of all choosing a story, how I am first of all taking the facts and everything what I need for the story, how I analyze those facts, and actually I want to talk about that what is happening before the story is getting published. So first of all, uh, I'm getting lots of questions of where I'm finding these stories. As I already explained, different journalistic forms, genres. Uh, the Travel with Me magazine is an investigative magazine. So the type of the stories the magazine is searching for are rare stories that others don't write about, a type of stories that are not in the media every single day. And of course, all of those stories have that investigative sense and investigative background. So, the full answer on the question where I'm finding these stories actually doesn't exist because stories are everywhere, literally. And I know that you're not satisfied with this answer, the stories are everywhere, but that is the truth. Because a story is not only in one place. For example, the story from this issue that I was recently talking about, the story on football players that ended up in a human trafficking chain. I find that story in a coffee shop. So, as a journalist, when you actually start to be part of this industry, and especially if you choose investigative journalism, then uh, you you are very sensitive on informations, and when you are going somewhere you are looking everywhere to find the story, because stories are literally everywhere. You can drive yourself in a public transport, and you can hear something that people are talking about, and find a way to continue the communication with them, and you find out that there is a great story behind that. So first of all, you need to understand that wherever you go, you need to look very carefully and listen very carefully, because stories are everywhere. Sometimes you are going to hear some stories from other journalists, or something, some interesting informations, and that will put you on the track to investigate something, like is there any story behind that, or not. After you decide what you're going to write about, or you think that you find the story, you first need to uh, take all the informations out from the people you are talking to, or it depends actually what is the story. So about this story, let's use it as an example. So how I started to communicate with these people. Actually, it was very, very simple. I noticed that they are sitting in the coffee shop with bags, and because I was working there, I was writing something. I noticed that they are not leaving the coffee shop, so that they were sitting there for hours and hours. So I noticed that something is wrong. So in some moment, I started to look at them, and they looked back. There were sitting there three of them. Yes, three of them first. And we started an easy communication. So from this easy communication, as I call, I find out what they're doing in the coffee shop. I find out that they don't have where to stay, and that explain me why they are sitting there with the bags. So from this friendly communication, that first interaction, I find out those soft details. Even if the story nothing was soft. So after that, as I decided to help them to find an accommodation, be, to find an accommodation. So I got credit with them to tell me more about what's happening with them. So through that, I found out all the background, how they came from Africa to Europe, what happened, with whom they are having a contract, who is the middleman, and all of those informations. So when I got out all of those informations, my second step was to call the lawyer, my lawyer, and to check all of those facts, to check the contracts, to check their passports, to see if everything is true what they are saying. So when I had all of those information, so what I do with that? Of course, I'm making notes, so I am putting all those informations down what I have. So before I'm going to sit down actually to write an article, all these informations I sort in one place, then I'm analyzing them. About checking the information, so your first check are the people that are talking about. That would be the first filter. Then you need to check, are there any legal documents on what they are talking about. If there are legal documents, that is your second filter, how you are checking the and validate the story. Then after that, I checked with a legal person, a lawyer that was able to tell me, yes, these people are speaking the truth. So after that, I done a more serious investigation. I was talking to their families, that explained me that how much money they paid for them to come here to have to find football clubs and so on and so on. So all of those informations, I'm putting down on a paper, first of all randomly like that, how I'm getting them. So when I have all of that in one place and at least 3 filters to check are all of those informations are valid, then I can sit down and analyze what I'm going to use for the story, and do I need something else. In this story I needed the part of the middleman. It was a very, very strange man, who actually left these boys at the street, literally. So for that, I used a trick, and I set it a meeting with the person, but I pretended that we are talking about, because all of that time, where they were in the accommodation that I arranged, um, all of that time they pretended that everything is fine with this middleman, so he didn't notice nothing strange. So it was quite easy to take out information of him, like how they came, um, who is the person he's communicating with, and all what he said actually was truth. All what he said, I already had on the paper. So when I had all of this, their stories, their family stories, the middleman what said, the person that they made contract with, it wasn't possible to talk with that person, because the person, when the person find out that they know what's happening, the person ran away. So when I had all that on one place, I started to analyze what from this I am going to put in a story. So what is the beginning of the story, the middle part of the story, and of course the end of the story. So that part is actually maybe the most creative part, because it all depends, because you done all the research, you done the analyze, you done the check, so now you can sit down and put all what you have uh, in the paper, in the magazine. So I hope so that this video is very helpful to you when you decide what about you are going to write. What I always say in every video: anything that you are writing about, anything that you want to publish, you need to have evidence on what you are talking about, and you need to be clear with that all what you put or that you publish need to be according to the media law. Bye.